to this month's episode of The Value Proposition, brought to you by the Fitness Business Podcast. Now over to your host, Sarah Pellegrino.
For our January 2022 episode, we'll be speaking with the Club Connect team to learn how to gain, train, and retain your staff members by utilizing their leading fitness training and education platform. Welcome to the Value Proposition by the Fitness Business Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Pellegrino. It's a new year and we have 12 months of amazing content for you, our FBP family. For those of you that have been listening to the Value Proposition for the past 18 episodes, thank you. We could not do what we do here without our loyal listeners. If you're new to the show, welcome. The Value Proposition is a monthly show on the Fitness Business Podcast, created specifically for industry suppliers to showcase the value that they bring to health club owners and operators beyond their product or service. Joining us today, we have David Van Deff, Director of Industry Relations for Club Connect and NASM, Shannon Fable, Fitness Industry Consultant and Group Fitness Expert, and Mark Mastrov. Mark is a fitness industry pioneer, innovator, and visionary. He is founder of New Evolution Ventures, a private equity firm behind such well-known brands as Crunch and UFC gyms. Mark is best known for founding 24 Hour Fitness, which he sold in 2005. Prior to selling, he grew 24 Hour Fitness to over 500 locations, serving over 4 million members in the US, Europe, and Asia. David is going to start us off today with our 3 real minutes, or 3RM as we like to say here, to give us a bit of insight into Club Connect. David, tell our listeners what Club Connect is.
Excellent. Well, first of all, Sarah, thank you for having me on the podcast. I'm really excited to be here and talk about Club Connect and the industry in general. Club Connect is the leading fitness, training, and education platform in the world. It delivers all of the resources fitness facilities need to effectively and efficiently recruit, hire, develop, and retain elite fitness professionals at a fraction of traditional costs. Club Connect provides unlimited access to what is now over 700 of the industry's best continuing education courses. Also provides a customizable learning management system to deliver all of your education and training for all of your staff positions, from a personal trainer, group exercise instructor, to a front desk person, sales, porter, etc. Comprehensive onboarding tracks, career pathways, and employee leveling programs. Deep discounts on NASM and AFA certifications and credentials. We have a credential verification platform that allows for tracking and management of all education, certifications, credentials, degrees, and then all kinds of different programming tools, articles, blogs, a workout builder, and other resources, all within a simple, easy-to-use software platform.
I don't know about you guys. What do you think, Shannon? Retaining and training staff, I think that may or may not be a really key topic for this year.
Absolutely. I mean, it always has been, right? And I mean, we've always valued education in our professionals, but being able to see it first and then prescribe it, for lack of a better term, and watch our pros and their journeys and be able to monitor that and ensure, if we're footing the bill, I want to make sure that money is going in the right direction. So if I'm paying for your continuing education, Sarah, I mean, I'm all for you going out and seeking your own education with the funds that I deliver, but who knows what you're going to go do. So I've always appreciated the fact that inside of this Club Connect ecosystem, I can help direct how to fill in your gaps since it's on my dime. So that's one of the best things that I love about Club Connect.
That's so cool. That's amazing. Now, David, tell us how many clubs currently use Club Connect. And I'm also curious if this is a global solution.
Great question. We are over 9,000 clubs strong, approaching that 10,000 mark, which will be a big moment for us as a organization. And yes, we are a global solution. We are in a whole host of different countries and really starting to grow our international presence. We'll do so much more so over the course of 2022.
That is so exciting. Well, we'll be sure to celebrate you at the Fitness Business Podcast when you all get to 10,000 clubs. So keep me posted.
We'll let you know.
Awesome. Our last question, our 3RM today. Who is the mastermind behind Club Connect? How did this solution come to be?
Yeah, it's a great question. It was started back in 2013 by the IDEA team. And being in this industry for a long period of time, I remember when it came about. A lot of listeners probably do remember when it came about. It was a great solution at the time. NASM acquired Club Connect in late 2019. And so over the course of the last 2 years plus, we have really taken a great platform and made it even greater, enhanced a variety of functions on the platform, and greatly increased the volume of education on the platform.
I love that we're not recreating the wheel here, right? We're taking something that existed, we've improved it, and made it even better.
Absolutely. It fulfilled a need back in 2013 and continues to do so in 2022.
So great. Well, David, thank you so much for walking us through the 3RM. I don't know about our listeners, but I sure want to hear how this all works. So David, I'm hoping you can walk us through what this looks like from implementation to how staff members engage with Club Connect on a daily, weekly, monthly basis.
Absolutely. And it's utilized in a variety of different ways. It's utilized by management, it's utilized by employees, it's utilized by prospects, ultimately, and potentially even members in terms of some of the deliverables. The easiest way of breaking it down is to talk about the primary deliverables, which is to recruit top prospects, train your new hires, develop your staff, enhance your offerings, and retain your talent. So when it comes down to recruiting top prospects, Club Connect is a fabulous benefit to employment when a club offers it within its structure and to its employees. Fitness professionals understand the fact that all of their continuing education is at their fingertips and it's at no cost. So when it comes down to developing themselves as a better professional and renewing their certifications, they've got everything by being affiliated with the club, who is a Club Connect client. In addition to that, from a recruiting top prospect perspective, we offer significant discounts on NASM personal training certifications, AFA group exercise certifications. So many of our top fitness professionals started as members that became interested and became an aspiring fitness professional, or let's say a front desk person on the weekends that ultimately wants to train clients or lead group exercise. It's a great opportunity through the Club Connect platform to get them certified at a little over cost, ultimately, is what it works out to being. So a great incentive in terms of recruiting these top prospects, training your new hires, from onboarding to staff development to leveling structures, et cetera. Club Connect has more than enough education to be able to create onboarding and staff development and leveling programs, but also can be utilized via the learning management system to take proprietary education, combine it with education that's already within Club Connect to be able to create these pathways. So for instance, you can have a new hire in any type of position that's going to go through traditional onboarding in a club, but also you're going to throw in the Club Connect CPR program through the American Safety and Training Institute, along with a customer service course, along with a basics of fitness programming, let's say, and put that into a pathway based upon a particular position. Developing your staff, as we talked about, I think this is a great tool to be able to take a fitness professional, for example, and say, hey, when you start working for this particular club or organization, you're going to go through the following 3 courses. After 3 months, we'd like you to go through these 3 courses. Let's say you have new equipment that comes into a staff and you want all of your employees that are working on the floor to learn how to utilize that equipment or create programming. This is a great opportunity to be able to take that education, put it into a pathway, and indicate to your staff, hey, we need everybody to go through this over the next 2 weeks. And Club Connect is just a beautiful platform to be able to establish that. Enhance your offerings is a big one, and it's commonly overlooked. You can go through in the Club Connect platform, as we talk about, over 700 education courses. Let's say you're a brand new fitness professional and knows the basics about getting on the floor and training people well and training safely and effectively, but you don't have a lot of experience with special populations, for example, or different types of modalities. You go into Club Connect and go through courses, for instance, on working with seniors, or from a modality perspective, go through courses on kettlebell programming, etc. So now you can become a more confident professional and equipped with the skills and know-how to be able to work with a variety of different people and a variety of different equipment. And then finally, retention. I mean, it's huge within our industry. When you go forth and you put forth the tools to be able to educate and train professionals within your facilities, you don't want to ultimately lose them. You want them to be successful, and you want them to stay within your organization. And Club Connect is a tool to really help with retention. People get into the platform, they go through the education, they understand the fact that they can maintain that certification they've worked so hard to be able to achieve, and now they can go through and get all the education and the credits necessary in order to be able to maintain it. So it's an incredible lure to keep somebody within an organization to make sure that they understand that they get this tremendous benefit and it's worthwhile.
Wow. I love how Club Connect grows with the end user, right? That retaining piece is so important. I know our listeners are going, okay, we need that, right? We're putting money into hiring people. You do not just want to lose them. So that's amazing. Thank you so much, David. Shannon, you are our Group X Pro here. So I'm curious if you can take us back a little bit and explain what is the alternative to using Club Connect?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, there's so many places I could go with that question, but I'll start with, as a group fitness manager for 25 years, it was important to verify first certifications. And that in and of itself is such a time suck, because depending on where you're getting that certification, I would have to hunt down how I could verify that a person truly was certified and current. So just multiply that by however many people you have on your staff or however many people you are interviewing for a new position. And they're not all coming to you with the same certification. So I've got to do the research to figure out how to verify and then go actually verify and hope that they can verify it back and do so quickly, right? It's a time-sensitive need. So that to me was the first bonus, is that, there's so many certifying organizations, both the big guys, right? The PT and group fitness certifications, but also specialty certifications inside that I could tap into and say, is this person truly verified? And it gives me a green check, and it sits there in their record. So I can always go back in, if it's quarterly or annually when I'm doing their review, and triple check if everything is still accurate or if I need some updates. They can also submit all their continuing education, whether it's done through Club Connect or outside of Club Connect. It becomes one hub versus me having to get them to, I was about to say fax and date myself, scan into a PDF and send me their continuing education information, and then I'm going to house it in a Dropbox or a Google folder. I mean, just a pain. It just greatly reduces the paperwork and the legwork around verifying. And if any listeners are starting to question, because I've heard this creep up over the last 2 years, forget it. Who cares about their credentials? We just need someone to teach 5 a.m. This is still going to be a huge differentiator. Like, the consumer has gotten smarter in the last 2 years while they've been forced home. Now is not the time to start ignoring it. And if you're doing it because it's too hard or it's too time consuming, this ticks that box. The second piece is I believe in continuing education wholeheartedly, and I've always advocated for my owners and managers to give me money to reimburse or to be able to bring people into the club and trainers and instructors. And that's gotten expensive, and again, time consuming over the past 10 years. So being able to go into this platform and know that it's continually growing, right? If it's older education, it's being moved off or updated. They're constantly adding to their platform, that I can go in and say, hey, trainer, hey, group fitness instructor, for a fraction of the cost that I would have to spend on each person individually, I can do it for all of them. There is no excuse for them not to get their CECs. It's online. They can do it at home. And maybe 2 years ago, they would have complained about that, but we are all adept at doing it now, and it's good now. We're good at delivering it too. So it just makes it so simple to, I don't want to use the word mandate, because then there's always legal things, but it's really easy to give them the opportunity and support them. The last thing, which I said earlier, I want to bring this point up again. The most important thing to me is being able to direct their Con Ed, because not all Con Ed is created equally. All of the Con Ed in Club Connect is great, valuable content, but depending on the person sitting across from me at my desk, I know what your gaps are. I know where you need to upskill and up-level. And just like any good executive would do in the corporate world, doing a performance improvement plan, like, here's what I need you to go study. I can cherry pick that course, assign it to them, give them a due date, and watch it without having to play phone tag to see if it's happened, if it's not. And It's all right there for me in one place. So I could go on, but those are the three big things that it saved me so much time in so many organizations where I use Club Connect. And I continue to tell my group fitness manager friends and my personal training manager friends, this is a no-brainer. If you want to truly value and help your professionals stay current and help your clients do better.
It's really well put, Shannon. I'll add one thing, Sarah, into that. What Shannon talks about is so critically important, not only to the facility, but to the professional. And there are some professionals, obviously, they can look at it and say, I don't want to go through continuing education and nobody's mandating my certification, et cetera, as we described. But there's that one professional out there that goes through the certification process, prepares, tests, completes the certification requirements, that goes, I'll give it up in 2 years. And then maybe 2 years later, when I go to find another position, I'm going to have to go through the entire process again. However, when it comes down to recertification, so oftentimes the fitness professional is just not paying attention to when that expiration date happens. They may have changed their email address, they're not looking at their text messages, et cetera, et cetera. And so this is a great opportunity for management staff or corporate staff to be able to go through and say, hey, here's the report for January. Here are all of the fitness professionals that are coming up for expiration. Primary certification, secondary certification, CPR, et cetera. It's all right there. And the great thing is that it can be delivered to them and they have a clear understanding of what they need to be able to accomplish to recertify, but also they've got everything from the platform in order to be able to do that effectively and with nothing out of pocket for the fitness professional, everything.
Wow. So you bring up a really great point, and either one of you can answer this. But how does it work with the actual profile? So if we know people do this, right? They train at one gym, Gym A, and at Gym B. If both gyms have Club Connect, is it the same profile that just kind of travels with them, whatever club they're at? Or is it a Gym A profile for that trainer and a Gym B profile for that trainer?
It's a great question, and that's a better example for a group exercise perspective. If it's within one organization, it is one profile. If it's within two different organizations, it's two different profiles. However, they're accumulating group exercise continuing education in that particular example. And so when it comes down to recertification, they may be including the continuing education they completed in facility A along with the facility B. We've had that situation happen. It's not incredibly common, but it's really simple and easy in order to be able to manage effectively.
Awesome. Thank you. Now, Mark, Shannon walked us through what training and onboarding looked like for Fit Pros prior to Club Connect. So can you speak to how online training and education has replaced and even enhanced many elements of traditional live practical training?
Well, online training has become kind of the foundation for everything we do in life now, especially during this pandemic to a certain degree. But ultimately, the beauty of online training is you can have the best trainer in front of you on a topic in the world at any given time. And when you look at Club Connect and the number of online training programs you have available, it's unbelievable who you can learn and listen to and be a part of in conversation. In-person training is great too, but I prefer the online. You can go at your own pace. A lot of the focus groups have shown that there's a lot more retention and development and learning through online versus in person. And you also, like I said before, you get the best trainer in front of you every time when you're doing online training. So Club Connect in that aspect is unbelievably successful and popular for us with our gyms.
I love that. That's so key too. And you don't have to wait for the next training to be in your city, right?
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. And you get the best trainer every time.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Mark, have you found with just consistency and understanding so many of your brands are in a variety of locations and international in some cases need to be translated, et cetera, but having that confidence that there's consistency in the message across the board, I would imagine has been a big help as well.
Yeah, I mean, for us, obviously, we're in multi-country. UFC Gym, as an example, is in 37 countries around the world. So having the ability to have the same platform, consistently training everybody so that when we come in, we can speak the same language is vital for us. But whether you're a single club operator, multi-club operator, multi-state, multi-country, having Club Connect is the best of the best in the industry. It's ridiculous not to have it.
Awesome. Well, in the spirit of continuing education, David, I would love for you to explain to our listeners how many certifications they have to choose from, and what are the subjects that we can learn about.
Absolutely. And it's something I want to stress when we talk about continuing education. And obviously, Club Connect was acquired by NASM, as we talked about a little over 2 years ago, but we still provide continuing education for a whole host of personal training and group exercise certifications that are not NASM and AFA. We work with all fitness professionals across the board. We have a tremendous amount of NASM and AFA content because it's in high demand, but ultimately we work with a number of different authors, number of different education organizations. And as I described before, in some cases, it's soft skills, it's customer service, it's sales training, et cetera, that isn't necessarily exercise related education and content. With that being said, we work with over 600 certification and education organizations in order to be able to validate credentials. So we go forth, when somebody puts in their credentials, we go forth and we validate them. We ensure the fact that, yes, they are valid, but we also go through and ensure that we have the right expiration date so we can manage that effectively. In addition to that, when it comes down to the continuing education that we provide, we have a whole host of topics. And we're adding right now, we've been doing this for a better part of 2 years. We add anywhere from 10 to 20 new continuing education courses to the platform every single month. I've got an education team that just doesn't sleep. They are constantly adding more and more courses, and we're always searching for the most relevant topics across the board. Because as Shannon brought up before, it's got to qualify, it's got to be relevant, it's got to be evidence-based, but it also has to be subjects that are going to tie into what folks are doing within a facility and how they're engaging with clients. So some of the topics that we have that are current and they're extremely well received are virtual and hybrid personal training topics. Corrective exercise and integrated flexibility is huge and continues to grow in popularity. Sales training and business development is very, very big. Nutrition, supplementation, and recovery for the professional, understanding what the boundaries are there, but also understanding how they can work with their clients in those subjects. Equipment, technology, and tools is just constantly evolving. And that's a big thing for us and a big thing for the facilities, in that as they bring in new technology, as they bring in new equipment, et cetera, having the education on the platform for them to be able to direct their employees to. And then ultimately, from a group exercise perspective, yoga, Pilates, bar, all the different subjects across the board to make sure that, one, we provide great tools and resources for group exercise instructors, but also we're teaching other staff members about what these concepts are and understanding the basics to them, let's say in that particular example.
Safe to say there's something for everyone.
We hope so. And if there isn't, you tell us and we'll build the education for it.
We'll add it. I love it. I love to hear it. Mark, you've owned and operated thousands of health clubs throughout the world. Let me begin by asking, how important is continuing education and staff development to the success of a fitness facility?
Is vital. And in all the focus group work we've done over the years, one of the most important aspects of developing a great team is the educational side. Continue to educate, train, teach, and develop. And so Club Connect's played a huge role in that area for us, as our team wants to continue to grow and learn and get better at what they do. It also allows us to interface with our member base in a much more meaningful way. So it's vital, one of the most important aspects of what we do with our training staff.
Great. Now, Shannon, can you share with us how Club Connect can be used as a great recruiting tool? As we mentioned before, people are looking to hire great people. How does this help you do it?
Yeah, I think David alluded to it earlier. I do believe that most professionals are deeply dedicated to holding a credential and keeping it current. The pain point is it's expensive and it's hard to access quality education or just source it for yourself. So when I would sit down and interview trainers and instructors and tell them that this is at no cost to them and it benefits them maintaining their certification, whether, like David was talking about, if they teach different facilities, it doesn't matter. Like that certification is relevant everywhere that they teach now and forevermore, that I was willing to take on that expense and that it was inside of this platform that was so easily navigatable with so much rich content, not just with the practical, actionable pieces of exercise science and programming, formatting and equipment, but also with the soft skills that we've been talking about that they need. I mean, it just puts a tick in my box where it's like, okay, well, that becomes a perk that's worth it, because let's face it, the perks that we used to dangle to get people to teach classes and train, your perks ain't working anymore. They don't necessarily need your free childcare during COVID times. They might not even need your workout facility because they got a Peloton at home. So we have to up the game in the perks that we are dangling. And this is one that is extremely relevant. I think it's a game changer, especially right now for fitness professionals.
Good point. Sarah, we also have an education score. And when professionals get entered into the platform, they come on and they learn how they can earn scoring points. And some of them come from having different certifications and credentials, but they're ultimately built by completing continuing education courses on the platform. So what we've seen over time, it's been a real interesting tool. And folks that are on the podcast know that personal trainers and fitness professionals, fitness people in general, tend to be competitive. It's a great incentive to get professionals completing education, knowing that they can look at any period of time and figure out, are they on the top of the leaderboard? Where do they stand compared to the other professionals within the facility? Or you can even combine it with other facilities within a particular organization to really create some incentives across the board. So it's a great means of getting people to become better professionals through education by dangling out that score.
Yeah, the gamification. And I also can imagine I'm a big proponent of community and trying to get these disparate professionals to act as a team and as a community. I mean, the gamification, you might think, oh, that's going to pit them against each other. But actually what I find is when they're competing against each other, they're sharing what they're doing to game the system, which is inherently such a brilliant thing to share in your team. You know, what courses are they taking? What are they learning? You go do this one. I'll go do that one. Let's get together and talk about it. So it actually has become a real team building platform as well, which I appreciate as a group fitness manager.
Absolutely. Mark, hiring elite level fitness professionals is as competitive as ever. So how advantageous is it for a facility to offer Club Connect and unlimited CEUs to recruit and retain personal trainers and group exercise instructors?
Is vital, because as I mentioned earlier, in a lot of the focus group work we've done with our staff over the years, one of the things that constantly pops out is education, training, development. I want to be with a brand, a company that continues to teach and train and develop me to get better at my job, at what I do. I want to work with people and help people. And so having Club Connect and the training and the online ability to constantly put information in front of our team whenever they want it is just amazing. So from when I started, a few decades ago, and we had nothing and we had to build our own programs and we kind of probably didn't know half of what we should have known, to now be at this elite level, with these programs through NASM, it's night and day, and our teams love it. And they constantly are learning and developing, getting better at what they do, which is what we're all about.
Awesome. So I know our owner and operators on here, David, are going, all right, this is fantastic, but is there a cost savings benefit to working and partnering with Club Connect? I'm going to include Saver in there too, because I know it's there.
Very much so, and certainly from an efficiency perspective, Club Connect helps on a number of different fronts, and can also help in the management, obviously, of employees when it comes down to tracking and verifying. But the cost savings associated with recruiting, onboarding, and development are the big ones. Churn is a big problem within our industry. It continues to be, and there are a lot of folks that have been in this industry for a long period of time that have talked about that the fact that it's as big of a problem now as it's ever been within our industry. Recruiting, onboarding, developing, and then losing that professional to another organization, or potentially finding themselves outside of the industry. So that is something that we have worked hard from a Club Connect perspective in terms of providing tools to be able to assist in the process and cut down on costs. We ran some research that occurred earlier this year in working with a number of different organizations, also pulling some historical data, really found that the cost of bringing on recruiting onboarding, developing a professional works out to about $3,000 per professional when it's all said and done. And a lot of folks looked at that number and said, boy, that's on the light end compared to what we're spending ultimately in order to be able to get those employees. And so when we talk about Club Connect in terms of how it can be utilized as a recruiting tool, in terms of bringing people on and the benefits associated with it, and then just all of the onboarding that can be done via the platform, in the employee's first couple of days. It can be done even before that employee starts within a particular facility. They can get access into the platform and start that process of preparing for their first day. From a staff development perspective, the days of leaving a particular facility to go to a host facility to where there would be an instructor and working with people across the board within a group exercise room in the middle of the day, that's really hasn't happened for a long period of time and probably won't be happening in the future. When you have access to online education that can be uniform and standardized, reproducible, and then put into the profile and the track of an individual employee, it eliminates the need for it, and it's a huge cost savings. And then ultimately, as we've talked about continuing education, Shannon alluded to it before, every organization out there wants their professionals to maintain their certifications and credentials. And if you're not providing a platform like Club Connect to where it provides those continuing education requirements, if you go forth and are mandating a certification process throughout employment, you will foot the bill ultimately for the continuing education credits that the professional needs to go out and secure independently in order to maintain that certification. So cost savings across the board, time efficiency is massive as well. And we're trying to really help provide a solution to what's become an even bigger problem throughout the industry, which is churn.
Well, now I know why you almost partner with 10,000 clubs. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. Mark, Club Connect has had a significant presence in the fitness industry for some time. How has NASM's acquisition and ongoing development helped enhance the product and deliverables?
Well, there's no better company in the world of training and development than NASM. That's what they do. That's what they're great at. The fact that they've been able to bring Club Connect in and then bring it in at such a low price per gym that we can add to our teams, kind of foundation of information and access has been, revolutionary in my opinion. It's one of the kind of unknown secrets we have within our club group that we're now sharing with everybody else who doesn't have it. The first thing I'd say is if you don't have it, you're nuts. You got to get it. Like I said before, it's ridiculous. You have to have it. The price is so small. Why you wouldn't have it kind of is beyond what I would think is reasonable. And the teams love it to have the access to it and the ability to kind of continue to learn, like I mentioned earlier. So NASM has done a phenomenal job. It does a great job in all that it does. And it's a company that I respect very well and have used extensively and exclusively for probably the last two and a half decades. That's
amazing. That's awesome. What is one piece of advice you would give to an owner or operator looking to hire the best of the best?
It's just have a suite of services that the team wants access to. When I'm in the field talking to the team saying, what do you need? Do we have enough equipment? Do we have all the toys you want to have in the gym for people to come in and use and exercise? Are we having the right classes, et cetera? One of the big components is they want to continue to learn and be educated. So when you talk about Club Connect, you talk about NASM, that's a big component. But to me, the most important thing is to be heavily engaged with your team, to have an interest in their lives, to ensure that you know a little bit about them personally, about their families, about what it is that they're focused on, why they're here, and then create that culture, that winning culture that's fun and exciting, that kind of leads by what I call the service side of the house. So your Group X classes, your personal trainers, your fitness classes, your fitness starts, whatever you're doing on that side is really the most important part of the gym, the service component, so that our members feel like they're getting all that they want when it comes to education and knowledge that we kind of pass through NASM, through Club Connect, into the staff and the team, and then into the member base. So for me, it's really just being engaged as an owner operator with your people and having a good understanding of what they're really after and how you can help them achieve.
Oh, that's so good. I could not agree more. That's amazing. Shannon, if you had to pick one benefit of partnering with Club Connect, what would that be?
There's so many. So I think I'd have to sum it up by just saying peace of mind. it is such an important piece of the puzzle as an administrator, manager, owner, et cetera, in the fitness industry to support continuing education, direct continuing education, care about it. But it takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of money. And oftentimes, I mean, you guys listening know, as a group fitness manager, you're doing the job of 25. And right now, COVID times, it is like the hardest job in the world. So peace of mind, because I know it's taken care of and taken care of in a way that I would do if I had the time to do it all myself. And one thing I know David poked out a little bit, but I always bring this up with owners and managers because I'm not sure they actually understand. You can want people to be certified. We all do. We want them to be qualified and service our clients and our members really, really well. But if you expect someone to have a certification and maintain it, you are on the hook for them maintaining that certification, meaning the time to do the courses that are required, the money, the tools, etc. You are like, we haven't gotten dinged for it. I mean, some people have. I think David's got stories with lawyers. I know I do in the past. It is your responsibility. And the alternative is to say you don't care and don't track it, which I don't think is a good look for our industry, especially with how many eyeballs are on our industry right now with the talk about health and wellness. So you want to mandate it, which means you have to support it financially and time-wise and tool-wise. That's why I say peace of mind. This ticks all the boxes for a fraction of the cost. And I know I am 100%, I'm off the hook. It's been taken care of. So when I say peace of mind, that's the biggest thing I make sure that owners and managers understand is it's just not something to mess around with. And this takes care of it so eloquently and so inexpensively. It's just a no-brainer for me.
Shannon, that is such a beautiful point. I think that is something that, like you said, people are not paying attention to unless they do it wrong, right? Ouch.
You don't want to do it wrong. It is not cheap to fix.
No. Oh my goodness. That is a huge benefit. You knocked that one out of the park for sure. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. David, what is one piece of advice for any owner, any operator, any manager that is trying to hire and retain staff in today's environment?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'm going to answer this in two parts because I'm going to go back on something that Shannon just brought up in terms of legal liability and certainly putting forth expectations, mandates, et cetera, when it comes down to certification. The other aspect to it that Club Connect is solving for is the CPR equation, which is and we talk about peace of mind ultimately, and we think about requirements from a state-by-state perspective and expectation when it comes down to a health club. One of the great things that Club Connect provides is a absolutely fantastic online adult, child, infant CPR AED certification program. So every single position can go through that course immediately, not have to sit and wait for an instructor come through and teach a course. So that is huge when it comes down to peace of mind. So Shannon's point was excellent and something we all have to pay attention to, but it did make me think about the whole CPR element that we're solving for as well. In addition, when we come down to advice for owner operators that are hiring on a fitness professional staff, I think one thing that gets overlooked continually is developing the confidence in fitness professionals. Understanding the fact that the majority of fitness professionals that come to us are coming fresh out of certification. So they've gone through all the requirements, they've completed the test, they have a passion for the industry, and they're thrown into an environment where very often it's sink or swim. And now you're taking folks that don't have sales and business development training, haven't gone through a lot of relationship development, don't understand the basics of prospecting, and also are just starting in, they don't have a lot of experience. And so very often when it comes down to trying to recruit clients, they don't have that confidence yet to be able to do it effectively. And so I think what a lot of folks don't put a lot of time and attention towards is really providing the skills necessary for that person to thrive. A lot of it comes from education, and in some cases comes from shadowing and working with management and being patient and giving the time for them to be able to develop and grow and thrive. I've just seen way too many fitness professionals start in this industry so excited to get started, and then all of a sudden they're thrown out there and there's the message of sell, find clients, service sessions, do all these different things, and they're not prepared and ready yet. And the club has not taken the time, spent the resources in order to be able to get them into a position where they can be successful.
That is such a good point. In my head, I'm going personal trainers that are expected to sell, right? They went through a class on how to train, but did they learn how to sell a personal training package? So
I'm sure, David, you expressed this to club owners, like there's such a misunderstanding of what the role of a certifying organization is, right? Certification is about ticking the box that you are minimally competent to perform the roles and responsibilities of the job. It does not put you into the marketplace to be successful. That's not the role of the certification. That is the role of the employer. And in the corporate world, like you bring your skills to the table in the corporate world, but somehow we miss the memo in the fitness industry that we have an enormous responsibility to train them. And I hear so many managers and owners say, yeah, but if I train them and then they leave, well, what if they stay and you don't train them? So I think your advice is spot on. I mean, not just encouraging and supporting, but helping them grow. It just helps the club tenfold. So I love that you brought that up as your advice.
Amazing insight and advice given today. To end on a sweet note here, we're in the first month of a whole new year. Mark, what is one piece of advice that does not have to be related to training or staff retention, just anything? What is a piece of advice that you would give to an owner or operator to set them up for success in this new year?
Yeah, great question. I mean, I think everybody's probably dealing with this, new variant that's kind of rolled out. And I think from all we've read is that it's going to come very quickly and leave very quickly. So fingers crossed we get through this probably in the next 30 days. So I'm hoping by the middle of February, we're kind of getting back after it again. But as an industry, we have to be there for people that need to get in shape and improve their cardiovascular, improve their entire body, the way that it functions, so that we can ward off and have a strong immunity system against this variant, these viruses. But getting into the gym, exercising, working out, what we've seen in our facilities has been almost one of the most important components to keep people out of the hospitals and keep people away from this variant in a serious way. So exercise, get your community into the gym, get your staff into the gym, get your family and friends into your gyms, get them working out and improving their immune system so they can ward off any kind of a virus, flu, cold that comes their way. That's what I would focus on right now.
I love it. That is fantastic advice. Well, Mark, thank you so much. Shannon and David, thank you so much for all the insight that you have shared today. Now, David, if an owner is listening in and wants to hear more and or work with Club Connect, where can we send them?
We'll make it simple and easy. Go to clubconnect.com. On the front page, click on the buttons that is a demo request button. Enter in your information. We will be in contact and provide you with everything that you need.
Beautiful. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for listening to the value proposition for gaining, training, and retaining your staff. Tune in Friday, February 18th for our next value proposition episode. And to show we walk the talk at the Fitness Business Podcast, all the resources and links for today's show can be found at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com, adding value to you, our FBP family. Until next month, what you leave behind is not what is engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others. See you next month, FBP family.